Good evening and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade, Season 2. Madeline is walking home. Well, walking home. She's just been a quick stop by the Elysium that is open at the moment. And she's been just looking around, chatting, not much more. And she will just, she's making her way home. Her two ghouls are just making her company, keeping her company, and she will get to her haven. The ghouls will just go to their quarters, and Madeline will be talking. She's talking with a a woman that seems, well, infatuated with her. I suppose you could call it that. She seems off somehow. Madeline will speak a few words to her and then send her on some duties she has to do, cleaning and, well, for lack of a better or more close description, meditation practices, essentially. Um, for those who would see it, this woman seems, maybe she's a ghoul, but she seems off somehow. But what could be the reason for that? Who only knows. Madeline is alone at this point, and she's just looking at a book at the moment and just writing down some stuff.
Okay, so as Madeleine is taking notes in her book, she glances upwards for a brief second, and through the crowds of people, she sees standing in the shadows an imposing figure.
Oh, I'm sorry. We are inside the like she's alone inside the building right now.
Oh, what kind of building?
It's her haven. Or I'm sorry, I didn't know what you want to do. We can say that she's just moving. She just needs to make a
No,
small.
no, no, that's fine. That's fine. In that case, as she's writing in her book, she hears a knock at the door. It's a heavy hand beating against the door.
And Madeline gets up. She has a bit of a smile on her face, and she just, as she opens the door, Ulrich, it is a pleasure.
As she opens the door, she sees a face that she never thought she would have seen again. A face pitted and scarred, with grey, rotting flesh hanging from it. She sees the face of Ivan, a face she has not seen for more than 90 years.
Madeline will just stop, and will notice that Madeline actually just seems fairly genuine when she just smiles. And depending on what Ivan's going to do, Madeline will just hug him.
If she moves forwards to try and hug him, he'll put out a hand to stop her. But he won't be aggressive. He doesn't react unfavorably.
Please, come in. Come in.
Ivan will step inside. He'll look around the room. It's been too long, sister.
I would really not have expected to see you
I'm sure you wouldn't.
I thought you were lost or gone, or I am so happy to see you again. It has been far too long, my friend.
Has it?
She stops. She does smile. She looks at him. For me, at least, yes.
I'm sure that's true. But have you not betrayed everything we stood for?
We stood for?
Have you not sold this city to others?
No, no, I did not. I left the city for my own purposes, for my road, for myself. That is why I left.
Your personal purposes are your own. I would never begrudge you that. But who is the seneschal now? Who is the prince? Who is the sheriff?
Other people,
And
yes,
who is responsible for that?
I was never the baron or prince in the first place. Ulrich left before I did. But would you thereby say that anyone who leaves his position and thereby destabilizes those under him are always responsible?
I would not say you are responsible for the destabilization. I would say you are responsible for the abrogation of your title.
Surely. But titles, honestly, does not mean too much to me.
That, it would seem, is very, very clear. My dominion over the catacombs was cast aside in favor of political expediency. How would you explain that?
Well, as far as I remember, it was supposed to be shared among all Nosferatu, no?
That's correct.
And would you not say that you are one of the most important things is the tightness and the communion of your clan?
It was to be shared under my rule, not any other.
And the fact that I was no longer around and that Ulrich was no longer around, that delegitimized your claim? How exactly?
Because you had relinquished control of the city to another.
I did not relinquish anything.
Did you not? Then
No.
please explain to me what happened. Explain to me how that imposter came to sit upon my throne.
The sheriff?
The primogen.
Your premature. Well,
He is not my primogen. Do not say that again.
very well. I suppose that he plays politics well, well enough to strengthen his own position on the behest of his clan. Such is the way of our kind, no? Such is the way of politics.
No, not even slightly. Merit where merit is due. Playing politics is one facet of a grand tapestry. His ability to play politics has no bearing on his merit as the primogenitor. It is simply one aspect of it. And yet he is afforded that privilege by virtue of his support of the Baron. And who is the Baron? Selected, chosen by virtue of the cowardice of you and Ulrich. And you may hide behind your innocence, your lack of involvement,
My dear friend
the
Ivan,
actions that took place.
my dear friend Ivan, must I remind you, you can call me a lot of things and I will agree to a lot of things. But do not call me cowardice, or a coward.
Did
That is
you
one thing I am not.
did you and Ulrich not hand over the city?
No.
Then please explain to me what you did.
Well, do you remember what was one of my most pressing priorities as I got to this city? I'll remind you.
You were a believer in harmony.
No. I wanted to find out what exactly happened to the previous denizens of this city. To the extent that I did not want to join them, and I did not want anyone else to join them. My search, however, was futile. And to be honest, I did not want to risk to live in this city much longer, since I did not know if another incident was about to happen. I needed to better myself and able to defend myself should it happen. Other than that, my position in this city is not completely disappeared or evaporated. It is still there. And let us say that I have learned much. And if there is anything I really hunger for, it is a challenge, adversity. And I'd say I have that in spades now. Oh, what I say? Did I give up my position? Yes, I did. In a certain way. But let's say you had other priorities, depending on what it is, of course. If it was a better understanding of your powers of the blood or a better understanding of yourself, your beast, would you not give up a position to gain such knowledge?
It would depend on the expense of how many that understanding would be built on.
Exactly.
For you, it would seem that that limit is very, very low.
Hmm. Well, you do not honestly know what I have learned. So I wonder, can you truly say whether or not it was worth it?
Then explain to me. Surely, if I am one of those who, upon your greater understanding of your road, has been built upon, then surely I am deserving of an
You
extra
should
mercy.
have been able, honestly, should you not have been able to take the position of Imogen?
It was not my choice to make.
Honestly now, you had lived here for quite some time. If you had enough sway with your clan, I'm sure you would be able to get that position if you were capable.
Is that your game then? To
No,
denigrate my abilities, to cast doubt on my fortitude.
your
If
fortitude
that is
is
what
not in
you wish
question.
to do, then that is fine. We shall make of ourselves enemies. I have no problem with that. That was not the reason I came here today.
But it was not my intention, Ivan. I am quite certain that the two of us can be much more productive if we are friends. No?
I agree,
Well,
but to
what I
assume
was suggesting is that people that work together for a common goal can be more effective.
I
Perhaps it is time for a change of leadership, if that is your heart's desire, of course.
I agree, but do not presume to claim that I did not make any attempt or have worth in the decision to make that imposter the Primogen.
Hmm. What can you tell me of this impostor?
I know next to nothing about him because he is not my Primogen. Were he my Primogen, he would have sought me out immediately, asked for my advice, for my help, for my counsel. He has not done so. He has sought the advice of weaklings. He has acted on the advice of weaklings.
Hmm.
He will end soon. All I ask of you, in the meantime, is a place to call home.
So you have arrived to this city not too long ago?
I have spent the past 6 months among my people, but they have no meaningful property. They have no meaningful land. I have need of somewhere more permanent to establish my residence.
I do have some things about below ground, if that would suit you. By the way, would you like something to drink? I do have something stored away.
I would be appreciative of your hospitality in the first, and in the second, I would indeed appreciate somewhere below ground, but only if you were willing to relinquish it to me on a permanent basis. I do not ask for anything more than you are willing to give. If all you are willing to give is that which lies beneath your domain, then I shall take it.
It is not my domain, so it is not mine to give. This building is mine. It is my haven, but I am certain that we can find something. It is not much here, and it is not connected to the catacombs, but, well, perhaps we can find out something.
We shall see.
If I had domain, of course I would allow you to stay. Allow me one moment. Madeline will just walk into the next room. You'll notice that she's essentially telling in French what comes close to it. For someone to go to their room, essentially. But that's like, it's very short. You can make it out. It's just like, go to your room, essentially. And Madeline will return with 2 goblets, and she will pour something you can smell a long ways off. Is clearly not water or wine. Into the cup, and she will give you one.
Okay. Ivan will take the drink gladly and nod in thanks.
I did. Well, I must say that I hope that our reunion would be a bit more relaxed, reminiscent. But apparently it does not seem so.
Madeleine, I would have loved to have reminisced with you. I would have loved to remember the times when we hunted together. But you and Ulrich broke that covenant. You gave this city to imposters. You gave my property to others. What on earth would make you think I would forgive you for that crime?
Well, I do not see it as something that shouldn't, well, would be needed to be forgiven. I honestly, but I do not know. It is the way I am. I do not see. There is as much knowledge in the struggle to acquire whatever you acquire in this world, in this existence of ours, as much there is a lesson as having it taken away, and the pain that comes with such rejection. It will make you all the stronger, and you will need that strength to take whatever you desire or want or think is rightfully yours. To take that back, you must need this extra strength.
You're right. And however much you may think I am disappointed in you, I still value your friendship.
You can see that she studies Ivan or looks at Ivan for a while, and again this genuine smile just and it's slow this time, but it just comes back and just
You will smile back, however horrific that may be.
Madeline will just sit there for a moment before she'll just say, "I should have your stuff from you taken away more often. I like that kind of talk. It makes me think, have to think and act in different ways than I am used to. I appreciate that.
Ivan will laugh.
All too many, all too many men and women are too easily swayed by a few good words and a smile from a beautiful woman. People like you are much harder to sway. You must stretch yourself to come to an understanding, and yet the beauty counts for nothing. I can appreciate that.
I can imagine you do.
Yeah. This is the thing about the Nosferatu. I could be, I can be the most beautiful in this city, in the Holy Land, but I will never ever be able to see it. I will never be able to see myself. While you and everyone else can. It is strange.
That is not strange, it is truth. You may have beauty in this material world, but your mind is what we value. That is why you are drawn to us. That is why you crave our approval so much.
Mm. God, I have missed you.
I would like to think so, but I do not believe it. You are too close to the traitor. You have a long road to walk before I ever think that your word is worth anything but ash.
And which one of the traitors would you be talking about in this sentence? Ulrich, your primogen, or the prince?
Ulrich, the filth that handed over the entire city.
You do realize that I would not have been able to take the claim of prince once Ulrich left for Constantinople, yes?
What do you
Even if
mean?
I had wanted to. I did not have the pull, shall we say, in many of the orders of knights that hold the city together.
I was not asking for you to have taken the role of prince from him when he left. That was not what I hoped from the situation. That does not excuse his action. It does not excuse your inaction.
Hmm. What exactly would you have? What would you think that my action that would have upended or changed any of this could have? What could that have been? What action could I have taken?
We all knew your influence over him. We were all aware. that your word, whether in his ear or otherwise, was law. You could have ended this before it even began. You could have prevented him from leaving. However terrible, however flawed he may have been as a baron, as a prince, he handed this city to an outside force and opened the door to imposters.
Well,
Tense.
a couple of things. I do not know if you know, but while the two of us were fairly well working together, I must admit, one thing that is more overpowering than most things is a fanatic loyalism to a cause. He had seen a dream. I do not believe that I could have talked him out of it.
Then you should have killed him.
Well, that I was not going to do. But to an unknown force, you do realize that the primogenitor of his clan now, the seneschal of this city, is his grandsire, right?
I understand that. I do not care.
Oh, well, I would hardly call them strangers or outsiders to him.
You say that as though it is a benefit. To me, it is only a drawback. Just one more traitor in a long line of traitors, more likely to sell the inhabitants of this city down the river for their own purposes.
Hmm. Honestly, I do not see the big change. Well, the change being that the person selling people down this stream were us before, and now it is someone else. I suppose you could say that that is the difference that matters, but there were other studies to make.
You've only made another case for your own complicity.
Well, I suppose I am complicit. But what would we do about this such complicity? Would you demand of me?
I would not demand anything. I would not presume to try and make the great Madeleine do anything she did not wish. She is her own creature. She has been led astray many a time. But more and more, she has remembered that she is her own creature. I would never presume to order her around, to tell her what to do, who to speak to, who to discipline. But I would certainly make her aware of the hypocrisy, of the degeneracy, of the outright filth of those whom she answers to, and she knows it well.
Well, honestly, I do not know much of those I supposedly, well, the Primogen I know of, but the others, not too much. But in what way do you think it is hypocritical of me?
They exist in a system supposed to be democratic without even the nearest shred of democracy. I was chosen. You were chosen. Gerard was chosen as members of the city best suited for our roles by the inhabitants. None of that has occurred with any of those who hold their titles now. It has been based on merit. And when they say merit, they mean relationship. Those who are loyal are chosen as Primogen. Those who are loyal are chosen as sheriff. Those who are loyal are chosen as seneschal. You and I and many others have fallen from great positions of which we had earned our right to hold. And yet now, anyone, provided they are sufficiently loyal, will hold those same positions. Does that not madden you? Does that not infuriate you?
Well, perhaps I did not see it as democratic as you do in the first place. I will agree with that. Well, think back to when Ulrich was elected. Sure, it was a matter of merit, but there was also politics. Certain favors were owed here and there, certain deals were made, understandings were met, and thus the most, the person with the biggest merit was chosen. I would say it was a mixture of being merit and being willing to strike a bargain. But it was not only by the grace of those who voted. It was through understandings.
Yet more reason to distrust those who he chose to stand in his stead.
Sure. But as far as infuriate me, no, it does not infuriate me. There are quite a few things that do infuriate me, but that politics seems to have existed for so long and still continue to exist. I see it as a fact of life. That I might not have returned to this city. I did not intend to come back, maybe. Well, that was probably the reason I left in the way I did. if you think me responsible for the loss of your position. You can think that. Well, I do not see it that way.
I do not think you responsible for the loss of my position. Not personally, but you exist within a system which was responsible for my loss. You and Ulrich and the others sold this city down the river and cost me and mine and all the others living in this city their livelihoods. Now, if you wish to pretend that you cared about them, then by all means,
My care for people is selective. But among our kind, can you truly know if any of us care? Whatever I might say or do, who knows? Does it matter if I attempt or do actually care?
in the grand scheme of things, no.
You are a pragmatic person. This is part of the reason I like you. I am a pragmatic person as well.
But your pragmatism runs towards what exists now. Your pragmatism suits you in terms of serving the needs of those who are currently in power, whereas my pragmatism, mine runs counter to that.
And I would not expect anything else. Maybe it is my fault for. Maybe I am looking for a conflict that is not necessarily there.
I wish no conflict with you. You have always been my friend. You have always been honest with me, to a certain extent. I would not wish to jeopardize that by my actions, but it will not turn me away from my wish to destroy those who have robbed so much from me.
That will be your business. And I will leave you to it, in privacy, of course.
I appreciate that.
If I am to be truthful, well, as open as I can. There are certain things, there are certain problems from the past and some present ones I would like to have resolved before I begin to go further with quite a few plans. We might have a very soon there will be a citywide problems. I fear. But it remains to be seen exactly when it will start. I hope to avoid it, or to at least deal with it before it becomes a real problem. But
Agreed.
Madeline drinks from her goblet. Drinks the last of the blood, and she just
Ivan does the same and stares at her.
she returns the stare and just smiles lightly and just says, "So you have been out of town as well when the betrayal happened?"
Yes.
North? Where did you go? North, back home, or partly there, or were there other things you would need to see or visit?
I went to the east, where I was born.
I hope it was a
How's
pleasant. Go ahead. I cut you off.
Where Khazars live.
Hmm. Well, and now that you are back, you seek to restore what was lost.
I do.
Again, our goals are well, somewhat similar, I suppose. However, I do believe our methods are so far apart it is almost funny.
Then perhaps we need to communicate more. If you have the same goals as me, then we should communicate more. If you have no interest in this enterprise, then disassociate yourself from it. That is fine. I would not begrudge you that.
I merely think that such things should be engaged in so very, very carefully and considered even more carefully, especially in the implementation.
I understand your concern, but where was that when this city was sold from underneath us? Where was that when this city was given to those filth?
forgotten, learned later, or disregarded? Honestly, I would not be able to tell you.
Exactly. It was good to see you, Sister Madeline.
Likewise.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And where, if I were to contact you, would I find you?
Send someone to the catacombs. They will find you there.
Very well. Madeline just nods, and she will get up. And I don't know if Ivan is expected to be let out, but she will oblige if he's making such gestures.
Yeah, yeah. It's her place. He'll leave if she wishes him to.
Hmm. She will do so, and she will just open the door for him and curtsy as he leaves.
He'll nod his head as he leaves.
And as the two old friends, perhaps different friendship now is standing between them, stayed apart, the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.